Like, you see old couples today who are married and been together for like 25, 50 years. Like, they're still doing their thing, communicating, right? All that didn't go without communication.
You're listening to Inside Young Minds, the podcast exploring the thoughts, fears, and hopes of today's youth. Let's dive in.
Fun fact, relationships, about 70% of relationships that start, new relationships don't work out. They don't even last for a year, meaning those that last over a year aren't that many. So in this episode, we're going to check out and see why so many relationships don't work out. This is not about the easy ones like fighting or, cheating. No, those are easy reasons why relationships don't work out. We're going to explore more and go deeper the struggles. This doesn't have to be romantic relationships. This can be day-to-day relationships. It's not just about romantics. It's about your relationships with your friends, with family, all of those. So I have a guest with me today who are going to be talking on this topic together. So I'll let him introduce himself. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Hello,
well.
everyone. My name is Everest. Of course, I'm honored to be here. I'm happy to be here, actually. I also run my own podcast. It's called the Bible Boy Podcast. Check it out on YouTube, Instagram, what I'm saying? It's over there. But I'm happy to be here overall. And it's actually a really good topic. So let's get on to it, man.
Well, to be honest, relationships, some of them last. But to be honest, not all of them last. And usually fights, trust issues, and all that. There's so many reasons as to why relationships don't work out. So let's dive into this topic. Thank you so much for being here. We're glad to have you here. And so I want to ask you, this is going to be a bit personal, right? So you have to, because on this podcast, we tell the truth, we're raw.
Yeah.
So that the audience who are listening can relate.
Right.
So when I ask you, dive deep, go in details, tell us what you can tell us.
Right.
Right? Okay, so the first question I have for you is, have you ever been in a relationship that failed but taught you something?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, tell us more about that.
Let's see, sometime around last year, maybe not last year, actually 2 years ago, 2 years and a half ago, I was in a relationship, and to be honest, it wasn't even like I was the immature one. Like, that woman was very mature, actually. She had her thing going,
Right.
I was just, this was before I was a believer, y'all, so, it's just not judge me. But I was a slick guy, lied a lot, She was the breadwinner. I had no money in my account.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But overall, the relationship was good. The woman was amazing. She was beautiful. Oh, wow. Very stunning. And it's just one time we talked, and because we're getting really serious, right? It was the most mature thing I've ever been in. And having a woman so mature by my side was crazy because I was very immature. I had, big ideas, but I never acted on them. I was a very dumb kid. Broke, no job, I think, at this point. Didn't have a car. And one time we just talked, and it was a serious talk. And this is why we ended things, right? But we just talked about our religion and beliefs differences. Because she was a Muslim, and I was a Christian. Well, I was a lukewarm Christian, I was in and out.
Okay.
But from that relationship, something that I learned is that it's like if I was more mature, right? If I was more mature and was more responsible and I had a car, it definitely would have lasted longer. It definitely would have been way better, right? And I was lying so much, and that killed it, and so much too, but it downgraded it by a lot. So I learned a lot.
Is that more of a reason why it didn't work out, or more of a lesson that you learned from it?
It's both, to be honest, because it was more of a reason why it didn't work out, and a lesson that I did take away from it, because now it's like I know what to do. I'm not just going to jump in a relationship, right, without a way to, like, at least go out on dates or without being able to get around or anything. You know what I'm saying? So It was a lesson, and it was a reason why we were done, because if I have money in a car, trust.
I understand. So let's go a little bit on expectations. versus reality.
Yeah.
Because in relationships, there are expectations that we have, but then there's the reality of what is.
Right. Right.
So do you feel like social media, right? Social media and movies,
Right.
right? Give people unrealistic ideas of what relationship should look like.
It definitely does, because I think at one point too it was affecting me.
Yeah.
You know, it was definitely, was it dictating how I was in a relationship, how my relationship should go. You know, because it's one of those times where like you'll just be sitting down and you're watching this couple being dumb and stupid, and to you it's so cute. You want that too, because like there's a lot of laughter that's happening. Right?
Yeah.
And it starts to affect how you think of a relationship. You start to think like, I want that too. I want my relationship to go like that, you know? And it definitely does affect. It affected me in my relationships. So, yeah.
All right. For me, on expectations that social medias and movies bring, putting false ideas into couples, their heads and everything.
Yeah.
For me, my take on that is that yes, it does do that, because you find people who are watching movies and they see romantic couples on the screen, how they're not constantly getting in arguments,
Yeah.
and all that, how they look so happy. And then there's this thing where they say happy ever after.
Yeah.
You know, and when those things happen in movies, it gives false expectations,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
it makes everyone who wants to go in a relationship expect so much from their partner. And this can have a very negative effect, because people forget to realize that these are movies. They're fiction. They're not real.
Right.
And if you want a perfect relationship, you have to work on it, because it's going to take so much dedication and work to actually get a good relationship. And fights, arguments, all those are going to happen in a relationship, and that's where growth comes from. So yeah, thank you for sharing.
Right.
But another question I have, like, have you ever felt the pressure to make a relationship look perfect for others though, not for yourself?
Honest opinion, honestly, no. I haven't. I've never thought about that, actually, to be honest. But no, I've never really. Yeah, no. What about you?
No, I have not done that, but although I haven't, I've seen it firsthand.
Right.
Especially on social media, where people will post their most amazing moments. You know, people will post when they're very happy, you know, and then when other people look at it, they're like, this is the most perfect couples.
Right.
This is what I want my relationship to look like, you know? So come again to where it shows, it gives people false hopes. You know, instead of them knowing that they have to work hard to keep a relationship, when they see it on social media, now they start to say, hey, this is what I want my relationship to look like. So, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there are people who don't think that communication is the foundation of a relationship, you know, and other people also think that communication, there are people who think it's the number one reason why relationships fail.
Yeah.
But there are those that also think that it's not. What side are you on?
Communication is very important, right? That's the side that I'm on. You have to communicate for it to work out. It's very, very, very important, because I think that communication, like you said, the foundation, right? It holds the biggest part about every relationship. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are at. Even, like, you see old couples today who are married and been together for like 25, 50 years. Like, they're still doing their thing, you know, communicating, right? That all that didn't go without communication, communicating their needs, and being able to support each other, right, left and right, you know, picking each other up when we fall. So definitely communication has been the biggest thing. Yeah, I don't know who thinks that it is not a big thing. That's kind of crazy.
So what can you say to those that think that lack of communication doesn't make relationships fall out?
Honestly, I just say that you need help, you know, and you need to grow a bit more.
Yeah.
And that you gotta sit out the field, you know, be on the bench for a little bit, look at the field, look at the people playing, and see what they're doing, and like, you know what, maybe there's, you know, it works out. It works in that end. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think it kind of depends on the person, right? Because yes, relationship is communication is the biggest thing in a relationship.
Yeah.
It's what's going to hold it together. And I feel as though maybe those who say that lack of communication isn't the reason, maybe it's because they have other things that make the relationship fall out. Well, I don't know, but I'd say yes. Communicationship is top.
Definitely.
No matter what you're doing,
Yeah.
whether this is your romantic relationship, friends, family, communication is key. Is the
Yeah.
number one thing that's going to keep your relationship moving forward.
For sure.
Yeah. Anyways,
Definitely.
so you told us how you've been in a relationship and all that.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a moment where poor communication led to problems in your own relationship?
I think like from the beginning, that was the problem. Like if we were both able to sit down and communicate our standards or needs, right, it wouldn't have gone as far as it did, right? Because we would have we've been able to examine ourselves and examine the relationship that we're in and say, wow, okay, maybe and I'm not disappointed that it didn't work out in the end, right?
Yeah.
But I think if we would have just sat down and communicated and actually dig deep into each other's lives and understand each other, it would have gone a very, very long time. It would have gone far.
And do you think the poor communication was just on your side or both of?
It was on both of our side, but big time my side.
Mostly your side?
Yeah,
Yeah. And what do you think you lacked that made your communication so poor?
everything. I had nothing to offer in that relationship. She had everything to offer, nothing to offer for me. She had everything to offer, and I had zero.
So
Nothing.
did you feel like the smaller person in the relationship?
That's just the problem. I didn't feel like the smaller person in that relationship. I felt like a man because you gotta understand, bro.
Yeah.
When you have nothing to yourself and nothing to offer, but yet there's someone who's willing to stick around and is so worried about you going out there and doing something else with other people, it's like that gives you an ego to stand on.
Right.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
does.
Like, you know how many times my girl was so scared of me going out there and cheating on her, and I'm that made me feel good knowing that she thinks that I would, you know what I'm saying? She's afraid to lose me.
Right.
It lets you know that this woman's gonna stick by you, you know, and she's I knew she wasn't gonna do anything, you know what I'm saying? Because that woman was respectful, had standards, had a job, you know what I'm saying? And I had nothing to my name, bro. So it definitely brings out an ego, dude.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that part. So another question I have for you.
Yeah.
So how do you think trust and insecurity play a role in relationships breaking up?
That's actually a pretty good question because going back to my relationship, right? That woman, she wasn't insecure, or I don't think she was insecure or afraid that I would cheat on her, right? But I think she just had to let me know. You know what I'm saying? Like a reminder, hey, don't do nothing stupid when you go out there, right?
Yeah.
Because she had trust in me, to be honest. I knew she trusted me. I knew there are conversations that we had apart from us having such horrible communication. There's conversations that we had that wow, it's really surprised me big time.
Yeah.
Because I think in a relationship that if your woman is insecure of you and everything, she's gonna hold you back from a lot of things. She's gonna be scared that she's gonna want to talk to you 24/7 just to make sure you're not doing nothing stupid, right? And that just means she's insecure, or not just that, she also doesn't trust you to be out there by yourself because she thinks. But then again, you gotta understand that woman is also in love and she's probably facing trauma in her past relationships.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't blame them for being that way, but I also think that they shouldn't use that as an excuse, right? With their next boyfriend, I think that if that's still a problem, right, maybe take some time to heal, stay away, and all that. But
yeah, good point. That's what I was going to say.
Right.
I was going to say insecurities and trust issues usually come from baggages that haven't been unloaded.
Right,
You know?
right.
So if you're in a relationship and you've been hurt, I think it's important for you to take enough time to yourself and heal first before you can get in another relationship. Because there are those who rush in a relationship just because they feel lonely, they don't want to be alone, or they want to show people that they have someone in their life.
Definitely.
So it's important for you, if you've been hurt before, let's say you've been cheated on or something, take time and heal before committing to another relationship, because that could end up hurting the other person as well who you're going in a relationship with.
Definitely.
Because I know that there's some people who want to rely on others to heal.
Yep.
You know, coming in a relationship expecting me to fix you.
Yeah.
But you gotta take time and fix yourself
Exactly.
before you go in a relationship with someone else.
yeah.
So thank you very much for sharing that.
Of course, bro.
Yeah. So do you think it's possible for someone to outgrow whoever they're in a relationship with, even if they still care about them? Like, being in love with someone, but then time comes, you grow out of love, you fall out of love with them, but you still care about them, if that makes sense.
Wow. That's a tough question, man.
Yeah.
That's a tough question to answer, bro.
No, like, think about it this way. You're in love with someone. You've been in love with them, in a relationship with them, let's say, for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But then as you grow, you start to learn so many things about yourself, and then you start to realize that, hey, maybe this person is no longer for me, right? And then you start to fall out of love with them little by little by little.
I've never seen that where that's happened.
Really?
Ever.
Oh.
Like, I've heard of people talking about I grew out of love with you, right?
Yeah.
But not because they grew and became mature and said, hey, I just realized that you're not meant to be.
No, but because you see, sometimes people can be in love, but then as they grow, like I say, they learn things about themselves, and what they learn about themselves makes them fall out of love with someone. Like, for example, you can be in love with someone, right, without knowing what you want in life. But then as you learn about this person and as you learn about yourself, you start to realize that you and that person are no longer compatible, So when that happens, that was the question. Like, when that happens, do you think someone can fall out of love with someone but then still care about them?
Man, thinking about that, right? It's like, that's a possibility, and that definitely probably happens somewhere in the world. I've just never seen it happen.
It happens.
Right?
It actually happens a lot, quite a lot.
Then, if we go back in the Bible, right, in Proverbs, it talks about like how charm is something and beauty is vain, right? Like these people you're in love with don't stay the same. And when you're with them, you start to realize how different you are. So every single day you wake up, it becomes a decision to make. Like, do you want to stay with this person? Do you want to be with this person? Do you want to love this person? Right? It becomes a decision you gotta make. And for the simple fact that that's never happened to me, that I've never seen it happen anywhere. Right? I mean, I wish I could say more to it. I mean, what do I think about it? I think it's madness because, like, what is this person? How bad is this person that, like, you start to dig for answers for yourself?
You have to understand that keeping a relationship. Let me make you understand something, and for everyone watching, right?
Right.
In a relationship, keeping a relationship is not about how much you love that person. It's about how much you're willing to stay and commit to them,
So
regardless. Because there are days that you're going to wake up and you don't feel that person.
Exactly.
Right? You don't feel that person.
Exactly.
And then, but because you're committed to them, you learn that, hey, maybe I might not be feeling it today, but with work and understanding and communication, the improvement is still there, right? You can improve. So that's what people need to realize. But when I tell you that, yes, people do grow out of love. A lot of people do, Maybe I don't know how you've never heard of it or seen it.
I've never seen it or heard of it.
But it's something that's actually very common.
I've seen the movie similar to that.
See, you're taken by movies. I know that. Yeah.
I just didn't think that, but how bad is this person you're with that you started making excuses to find yourself? Like,
no, it's not about them being bad, right? It's not about them being bad. It's like a realization to yourself. Because as you grow, you learn so much about yourself. You learn
so much, but like before you get in a relationship, don't you already know yourself? Like,
not really.
Like, right now, if I were to get in a relationship, I know what I want. I know what I need from this person. I know my expectations. I'm not gonna set a standard that I can't meet, right? And of course, as we get to be together, you start to see how different you guys are, right? But like, do I not already know that it's gonna happen? That I'm starting to find answers, so I don't be with this person.
Well, things can change.
Things can change.
Definitely, things can change, and when you say madness. You already know what you want and everything, right? But the thing you have to realize is that some people, when they get in a relationship, they don't really truly show who they are themselves.
That's a madness,
And then you
man.
learn that later as you go on. Maybe you're a bit too young to understand.
I mean, dude, shit, man. I still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that if a person is faking their personality, who they are,
Yeah.
I shouldn't you be able to tell, bro? Like, somebody always makes a mistake one way or another. That always leads
Yes,
back into
that's why I say along the lines you can find out. You come to learn it, but
God.
sometimes it doesn't just show in the beginning.
You are a horrible person if you're doing that to somebody. Hey, you know what? I'm a hypocrite for saying that. I'm sorry, guys.
But anyways, let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
So let's talk about an outside factor, like people outside your relationship,
Oh.
right? You know, when you're in a relationship,
Yeah.
like the effects that people outside your relationship can bring.
Right.
Let's say like maybe money, family, or having a long distance relationship.
Oh,
You
boy.
know, has any of that ever affected your relationship?
Money, it has big time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said in the beginning.
Yeah.
Long distance have big time. I don't know what else you said. but
Family.
Family.
Yeah.
I just know my mom would never accept this woman. So
I don't think it has to do with your family accepting the person, because in order for them to accept the person, they first have to know that you have the person in your relationship.
They knew.
But I think for the family part is most people, there are people who would be having problems with their families.
Yeah.
You know, like they're having misunderstanding in the family, and then that affects their relationship with their partner.
It definitely does.
Because when you're having issues at home, you know, you start to react differently. You know, your moods start to change.
Yep.
And then, you know, when you're in a relationship with someone, they start to see those things, and they can affect your relationship with your partner.
Yeah.
Because you start to act differently, you know. And then maybe if you're lucky enough to have someone who try to sit by your side
course, I was
and
just about to say that.
understand, then that can help. But on the money part, what do you say about that?
Man,
What's your take?
Dude, it messed up mine, so I know it's gonna mess up yours too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just have something on the side
Yeah.
for you to have to use while you're in a relationship with the girl, because I think that it's nice to like have a woman you love by your side and some money on your side, so that way you guys won't be going on walks every day.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being able to take your girl out and eat and have a good conversation, it's a beautiful feeling. For anybody that hasn't had that feeling yet, it's an amazing feeling, bro. Like sometimes you even dream about it, man. Like, wow, it was so good. You know, and it just comes with like having also an understanding person that you're with,
Yeah.
right? But money, I think, is a big part of a relationship, man. I think it's very important to have something.
Okay. So talking about the outside factor, let me bring you back in a little bit.
Right.
A lot of men who are in a relationship are very closed off. They don't want to be emotionally, let's say, available. I want to say they don't want to be vulnerable with their partners. Why do you think it's hard for men to share, you know, and be vulnerable with their partners?
Some guys just have big egos. Like I've seen in a lot of relationships today,
Yeah.
every day, to be honest. Right, like a lot of the guys that we know.
Yeah.
Right, big egos. And crazy part is like this big egos isn't gonna get him anywhere. Because we've had many conversations with this certain people, and what they talk about is how like they want not just one, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different women on their side. Right.
Right.
The reason why a lot of men today in today's society, worldly men, are closed off is because they have this big egos where they feel like it's big, and it's aura when you have multiple women by your side. So you don't want to share that, and it's hard for you to express your emotions because you look like the weaker man. And I've had that problem in my past relationship too, where like me, like knowing that this woman is stuck by me because she loves, like she was more invested in the relationship than I
You
was.
were, yeah.
She loved me, but I loved her too. Just
not enough.
Not enough, you
Yeah.
know. And it's like me sitting down and crying about my problems made me look like the weaker guy. But if I'd have had enough humility, if I was humble enough to lower down my guard and say, you know what, this is my woman. I love this woman, and I want her to be part of my life. And I want to be able to sit down with her and have a solid conversation with her about things I'm going through. Like that would have definitely like it boosted things up a lot better, you know. But it just feels like it's killing your ego.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from.
Right.
You know, I can understand that. People having egos or is saying that if they share with their partners, you know, they're going to figure them out and everything.
Yeah.
But I think there are also those who don't want to share, not because of egos, you know, but because of what they've been through.
Yeah.
You know, because there are those who have been in relationships where they've tried to be vulnerable and shared, let's say, secrets about themselves, and then it was used against them, right? And talking from experience, this is something that's happened to me, right?
To me too.
It's something that's happened to me,
Yeah.
to a moment where I was going through something difficult, you know, and I shared this with the person I was with at that moment, and then the moment we got in a little argument, she brought it up.
Yep.
She brought it up.
Sucks.
And I feel like a lot of men mostly don't want to be vulnerable because of that reason. Because when you trust someone and tell them something about yourself that not many people know about, right? Something that can hurt you, and then they come up and use it against you when you guys get in an argument or something, you know, it turns it kind of makes people turn themselves off, you know, close themselves off to a point where they no longer want to share anything.
Definitely does.
Yeah. And also there are those who don't do it because they don't know how to, you know, and definitely. I feel like people have to learn so much about themselves and grow, right? And it's not necessarily about being mature. Right. It's about being emotionally aware.
Right.
You know? So if you're aware of yourself, what you need, what you want, and what you can share and how to be vulnerable, let your partner in so maybe you guys can help each other. But it requires a lot of trust.
It definitely does.
Yeah, and if something like that has happened to you, that trust comes from very far.
Yeah, and it sucks, bro. When somebody uses something they know about you against you, it feels like a knife somebody stabbed in you, bro.
Yeah.
Like it hurts so bad because it's like, wow.
It definitely feels like being stabbed in the back because that's exactly what it is. You know, you can't imagine telling your friend this and this and this, and then you hear they told someone else about it, or you get in a little fight and they come and tell it to you in your face, and this is the reason why you're this and this and this.
Exactly.
You know, it tends to make people, you know, feel little about themselves.
It does.
Yeah.
It really kills people's confidence and it kills people's trust in other people. Because I wouldn't say I'm closed off because of that reason. Yeah. Right? Because there are people I still trust very much in my life. Yeah. And I'm just so closed off because I don't see why I have to. Like, 'cause I have this thing that I go by. Like, unless what I'm going to tell you is going to benefit you in any way, like, I'm not going to say it to you. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for me to go on and tell people about my testimony. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. Makes some sense. So, talking about relationships that you've been in, what is one lost lesson you've learned from a failed relationship that you carry with you to this day?
If you have a good woman by your side, do everything you can to keep her by your side. You know, because I lost a good woman. Yeah. And I don't regret losing her, but it's still something like it was an experience that now helps me maintain any relationship I'm going to be in the future. Right? Because now it's like, wow, I was once with a very good woman. A woman that showed me how to be a man. A woman that showed me how a woman is like when they're like with you. A woman that loves you. Right? And seeing that's something that I always, like, in my next relationship too, and I say this now, like, if I'm in a relationship with this woman is not like how, you know what I'm saying, the previous, because I'm telling you, when I tell you that this woman I was with, she was very mature and so well off. Yeah. Like, believe me, she's well off. Like, you know how it feels like when a woman you're with, like, they see that you don't like something and they stop doing that. Yeah. Wow. Like, this woman, there's a certain way she used to dress. Yeah. Right, and it wasn't all that bad. I just didn't like it. Yeah. Right, one day we just talking like, look, I mean, you don't gotta change that because of me, or this and this, right? But you also gotta understand that as a woman, you gotta have to like respect for yourself and present
your
yourself
partner.
well,
Yeah.
right? And if you're in public, people know that you're my girl,
Yeah.
and they know very well that if I'm with a person, like I want this person to be this type of way. I'm not telling you to change that or anything. She just asked me randomly, and we had that small little convo. It wasn't even long.
Yeah.
The next thing, bro.
That's why communication is important.
That's just so, you know how that feels
Yeah.
though? It's like, wow. And I wasn't telling her to change nothing. I was just
You're
giving
just telling her what you think, how you feel.
Exactly.
All that.
It was, wow. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta think, bro. Like, a woman that truly loves you is gonna stop doing things that bother you. She's gonna do everything she can, man, to, like, treat you well. And you have to provide the same thing, though. You can't just receive.
You know, and from that point where you were giving us, I have also learned something from it.
Right.
For a woman that loves you, you can tell because she's willing to adopt.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah.
And the dressing part, like, no woman that loves you is going to be going outside dressed like she's inviting other men.
Exactly.
Right? So if she loves you, of course, she's not going to do that.
Exactly.
But when maybe there are those who would love you and still do that, but I doubt they really they truly love you.
Right.
You know? But also as a man, you have to know that there's a certain behavior that you have to, there's a way you have to behave if you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
If you really appreciate and love your
That's
woman.
a very good point, actually. Because I think that, like, as much as I appreciated my woman changing all those things when presenting me all in public, like, it has to go both ways. Because you gotta understand that this woman also has friends and has people that see her and have those that know her really well enough. And if those people know you and see you doing stupid things, that's eventually gonna end up with who? Your girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? And I think it goes both ways. It's receive and give, right? It's like give, receive, give, she receives, blah, blah. You know, it's a two-way thing, man. And I think a lot of guys don't get that because people get confused and they talk about, like, I'm the head of the family or I'm the man in this relationship. People confuse those two very things. They feel like they should just receive, and not give. You know, so I think representing yourself well is really important in a lot of relationships.
I mean, being a man of the relationship doesn't always mean bossing someone around or having them do things and then you don't do them just because you feel like you're the head of the family. No, you have to compromise.
A lot of people think that way.
If you ask your woman to stop doing certain things, there's certain things you should stop doing as well. Like, don't ask your woman not to go to a club, but you go to a club. Like, what are you doing? You know? So you have to compromise. It's the respect goes both ways.
It goes both ways, bro.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that's a good point. But coming to a close, like, let's say someone is going through a breakup right now, you know? What would you tell them? What's your advice to them?
My advice, bro, is just, like, literally just take some time off. Like, there's nothing else I could say.
Yeah.
Right? Like, some people feel like when they're broken off, they have to heal from that quick. And so they go and mess with other girls to heal from it. But that's never going to help. That's only going to make you something that you don't want to become. It only makes you look bad. It only makes things worse. And I think my advice to you is just take some time to heal. Like, stay away from those things. Stay away from friends that aren't going to be there to support you. And keep you away from those distractions. Right? And just lean towards God, bro. Just say, God, this sucks.
Yeah.
You know, like, leave me here. Like, help me through this. So that's my only advice.
And the thing is, God is always going to be able to meet you, you know, at least halfway if you're willing. But for me, the advice I would give someone, let's say, who's going through a breakup, it's not the end of the world.
It's not,
you don't have to feel like it's the end of the world just because somebody broke your heart or you broke their heart. I don't know which way it would be. But the one thing I can say, though, is, like you said, take time and heal. Take time and heal. Don't feel like you have to jump in another relationship just because you're hurt. If you do that, you're going to end up hurting someone else. You know? And so talk to God about it, you know? Ask God for guidance. Don't feel like it's the end of the world because it's not. I promise you, there's someone out there better for you. Maybe it wasn't meant to be with the person you are with. And maybe God is preparing you for someone better for you. you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I feel like also don't stay behind trying to find ways to hold on. Let it go.
That was my
You know,
problem.
let it go. Don't feel like, hey, maybe this person might come back. I still love them, this and this. Yes, sometimes the best way to show someone that you love them is to let them go. You know, learn from the mistakes, go and analyze yourself, learn where you went wrong, you know, learn from that relationship you just got out of. Because I promise you, if you take time and learn about yourself, the next relationship you go in, you'll be mature enough to know certain things not to do, certain things that will keep your relationship strong. So I think I'll stop there. That's all I can give you for now. But thank you very much, bro, for being here. This is a close. I wanted this episode to be a little bit short. Maybe we might do a part 2. Who knows? But this was a great conversation, and I hope that people learn something from this. Because we're here to help each other. Some things you don't know, I might know, and those that you know, I might not know. So we're here to help each other. Send this episode to someone who you think it can help them. If someone is going through a tough time and you think this episode can be of help to them, please send it to them. But also remember, you can find us on Instagram at inside_youngminds. We're also on YouTube, which is where this video will be posted. Inside Young Minds is the channel name. And remember to check out this boy over here, the Bible Boy podcast. That's where you can find him.
Actually,
you'll find some good discussions about God.
The title is Bible Boy Podcast. It's not that Bible Boy Podcast. But originally it is the Bible Boy, but the title is Bible Boy. And it just started, so we haven't really posted anything, but we do have some pretty cool shorts that could really help you. So, you know.
Yeah, perfect. So if you're going through a rough patch, or if you've been through an experience that you'd like to share with us, leave it in a comment, or you can also hit me up on Instagram, like I said, inside_youngminds, and shoot me a text and we can talk. But other than that, also, if you feel like you have a topic that you'd like to hear us talk about, and also maybe you would want to be a guest on the show and give us your insights on some topics, you can also hit me up or leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll hit you back up. But other than that, keep on growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for watching or listening to Inside Young Minds. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow and share it with someone else who might need it. You can also find us on Instagram at inside_youngminds for updates and behind the scenes. Now, there's new episodes every week, but until next time, take care of yourself and keep on growing.